Tonight, the Nolan Wells investigation into the death of a shining star, Nolan Wells, has an altercation witness emerged. A witness that claims she saw an altercation at Horn Island. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. A Nolan Wells phone evidence torpedo.
Two confirmed witnesses that saw Nolan Wells on the island around 6 p.m. The Triton, as you said, left around 4:30.
What witnesses? Where? Who, what, where, why, and when?
I have not spoken publicly about this before, but I witnessed an altercation involving Nolan Wells from a boat nearby. What I saw has stayed with me, and I believe it's important information. I have provided or intend to provide my account to the appropriate investigators because Nolan's family deserves the truth. Out of respect for the ongoing investigation, I won't speculate beyond what I personally observed. While I was on the boat near the area, I witnessed an altercation involving Nolan Wells and several other individuals. I saw what appeared to be an argument that escalated after there was a dispute involving Nolan's phone. I heard Nolan yelling for his phone to be returned. The argument continued after the group reached shore, and I observed a physical fight involving Nolan and multiple people. I also observed a young woman telling them to stop. At that point, I left the area because the situation had appeared to be getting worse. I did not remain long enough to witness what happened afterward. Everything beyond what I personally observed would be speculation, so I cannot honestly say what occurred after I left. Then she said she messaged one of the individuals that she saw, "Hey, I just want to say I was a passenger on another boat and I saw the argument between you guys and will go to the police with this information. I also have video footage. My husband doesn't show much, but it shows the argument that was taken and how you guys were upset at Nolan because of the young lady."
That from Secret Service Sam on TikTok. Okay. How is this helping the investigation? I'm trying to make sense of so many people online making comments. Now, if this is true, if there is a witness who has a husband with her on the boat and they took a certain amount of video, it could change everything, especially if the video is time stamped. Straight out to veteran trial lawyer, defense attorney Philip Dubay joining me. He's joining us out of LA, formerly in the public defender's office. They try a ton of cases. Philip, first of all, has she turned it into police? She said she was. If she hasn't, I give her no credibility at all. Look, I want this to be true. Why? Because I want the video. I want to see the timestamp on the video. I want to see, was he still on Horn Island at 4:30 when his acquaintances on the Triton boat left? I want that video. And if she hasn't brought this forward to LE, law enforcement, then it means nothing to me. I mean, if I know a young man turns up dead in the water, and I know there's a controversy surrounding this, I mean, we know she knows that because she's gone online and posted it, then why not hand it over to police?
Agreed. And it should go to the grand jury for part of their investigation.
The body of 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells was found face down in the water off Horn Island, Mississippi, on the morning of July 6, 2026. He had vanished 2 days earlier, after a 4th of July boat trip with friends. The Jackson County Sheriff said that no foul play had been identified. No foul play has been identified at this time, the sheriff told CNN. They said this before the autopsy was complete, before the toxicology results came back, before the investigation had really started. How do you trust the words of people that say immediately there was no foul play when you haven't even investigated whether there was foul play? This is the question that haunts the parents, and it is the question that defines this case. Their son is gone, and before they could even begin to grieve, a narrative was handed to them. They were told it was likely an accident. Accept it. Move on. Before we go deeper into what the documents and statements actually show, make sure you're subscribed to Project Cold Case, because we don't just cover the story, we follow the evidence. A mother's intuition is a powerful thing. Christine Wansley, Nolan's mother, knew the story she was being told didn't fit the son she raised. She told Good Morning America that she tracked Nolan's phone. When she finally got it, she and her sister immediately went through his Snapchat accounts. They were empty.
Alcohol from human tissue.
It'd be very difficult. Generally, the liver is the best candidate. We'll spin that down. We'll take a section of it, spin it down, and liquefy it. But again, I submit to you, Nancy, that he has not been down long enough to compromise the ability to get at least a quantitative amount. Yeah, to get a BA.
Okay. To Philip Dubé joining me, a veteran trial lawyer, defense attorney out of the LA jurisdiction. I'm not quite sure why you're so focused on who had been drinking. Let's take a look at the video. Let me answer that for you. Everybody was drinking. Okay, everybody had a snootful. So, even someone drinking can see an altercation, Dubé.
No, of course you can. I can see that crowd of people out there. It was a bustling, hot 4th of July afternoon. But who's to say that the people that she saw included Nolan Wells? And that's why you got to get into her ability to perceive and recollect being impacted by intoxicants such as alcohol. I would want to know if she had imbibed. I really would. Not to mention, the autopsy findings thus far do not reflect any type of physical insults or injury to his body. At most, what you have are signs.
I'm asking you about your fixation on the witness having been drinking. Joe Scott Morgan has already addressed the body. I'm talking to you about the alleged witness.
Yeah. If she had in fact been drinking, I do believe, unless they really have a video showing him in HD quality, showing that he was in a fight, then I would call her ability to perceive, recollect, and even state that there was an altercation going on in her presence.
You know, Brandon Tatum joining us, Officer Tatum on YouTube. I've cross-examined a lot of witnesses, and I cross-examined them exactly on that. How far away were you? Did you know the target? Were you familiar with them? Was your vision obstructed by anything? Were you wearing glasses? Were you wearing sunglasses? What time of the day? I mean, I could go on and on and on. But unless you have a nun, a priest, or a virgin on the stand, or maybe Angel Gabriel might come down and testify, you have to take your witness as you find them. And I'm sure you've had a lot of drunk witnesses in Tucson, to everything from a bar fight to a murder to a dope deal. Look, I'd say a good 50% of witnesses were drunk at one time or the other. That doesn't mean they didn't see what they saw.
Well, from a law enforcement perspective, this is not cross-examination on the stand. This is us, what I would deal with a witness.
I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, she said. There were no saved pictures, no snaps from that day, nothing. It wasn't even 24 hours, which is how long videos and pictures stay on Snapchat. The phone was scrubbed clean. As she put it, that's suspicious. There is an important difference between asking questions and attacking a family. The Wells family is not a political movement. They are not public figures seeking fame. They are two parents, lovely parents, who woke up one day to find their son was never coming home. And for doing nothing more than asking for a thorough investigation, they were met with a smear campaign. Christine, a nurse practitioner, was subjected to anonymous complaints to the Mississippi Board of Nursing. The family received threats. The attacks on them have been relentless. They were attacked for asking for the truth. This brings us to the central contradiction. The district attorney, Angel Myers-McGrath, has repeatedly cited her ethical obligation as the reason she cannot release information. I understand that a void is perceived when some are speaking publicly about a matter while others do not, she said. She continued, filling the void would only serve to get pressure off of me. Nolan deserves better. There is no pressure that can be placed on me and no force that is greater than the weight of the oath I took. She frames her silence as a virtue, protecting the integrity of the investigation. But the family's attorney, Ben Crump, frames it differently. He has pointed to the history of the Deep South, where young black people are killed and nobody ever gets any answers. The family was not content to let the state be the sole arbiter of truth. They had Nolan's body flown from Mississippi to Washington, D.C. They hired their own pathologist to perform an independent autopsy. They were not going to just accept the first story they were told. It is a lived experience for many black Americans that oftentimes when our children are killed in highly questionable situations, there is this notion that there was nothing wrong. No foul play. Let's just sweep it under the rug. This is where the story becomes a thriller. Horn Island is federal property run by the National Park Service. Nolan's body was found on federal land. This is why former Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. called for a federal investigation. He noted that 24 days after the body was found, no federal agency had announced an investigation. You have a death on federal land, you have parents desperately seeking answers, and you have no federal presence. Why the disparity? Meanwhile, the local DA promised to present a thorough investigation to a grand jury, but has not answered how or whether rangers even patrolled Horn Island on the 4th of July. The family
In
held
Mississippi, the rules of professional conduct restrict the information a prosecutor can release during an investigation. Our restraint in communicating facts and evidence is not an effort to keep the truth from the public. It is an effort to protect the integrity of this investigation in the grand jury proceeding.
And tonight, more rumblings that the wrong boat was searched.
The MDMR report states that the searched vessel was called a tied craft, right? On July 8th. But witnesses show he used a tied line boat on July 4th. In the MDMR report, right down at the bottom in the yellow, it says tied craft, not tied line.
From Sam Crouppen to Ben Dobrin, emergency response diving instructor and trainer. Ben, thank you for being with us. What about the mistake in the name of the boat, if it was in fact a mistake? And could that explain any problem in getting GPS information?
Well, absolutely, because they're two different brands of boats. It's like saying, I'm going to search a Ford, and then you go out and search a Chevrolet in a car. They're very different brands of boats. And so if they were searching the wrong boat, then any information on that boat would be the wrong information. So if you're going after the GPS plotter on the Chevrolet, but you want the GPS plotter off of the Ford, they have no bearing. And so if you're searching the incorrect boat, you have incorrect evidence.
To Brandon Tatum, star of The Officer Tatum on YouTube, we just saw some video from your show. And I'm trying to figure out, among other things, what time and day, if you have a time and a date stamp on that, that seemingly shows the Triton with a lot of people on it leaving the island, leaving Horn Island. Do you have a timestamp on that?
I don't have the timestamp. I can ask them to see if they can get it to me. When I watched this video and they presented it to me, this was during the time that the CETO call was occurring. So it had to have been right around that time. You could see Wyatt on the boat on the phone. And so this is how it was presented to me. And just to kind of answer your question about the boat searches, you know, it's partially irrelevant depending on the investigation and the interviews that they've done. There is no indication that there was a crime committed on any one of these boats. When you have 60 people that have already given statements to law enforcement, you have the young men that I interviewed that were on their boat that left the island, and then you have people that saw Nolan on the island after they had left. It's no indication that Nolan was on any one of those boats at any point in time and that a murder occurred on those boats. So regardless if they searched them or not, you know, it was offered up for them to use a cadaver dog, but
a press conference at the National Association of Black Journalists convention in Atlanta. It was there on August 13 that the weight of it all became clear. Nolan's birthday was coming, August 19th. He would have been 19. The parents spoke of the new normal. They spoke of the hurt that comes every day, the conversations they have to have with their other children who are grieving too. They asked for a national day of prayer for their son. The mother said, "Our lives have forever changed. This new normal is something I would never wish on anyone, not even my worst enemy." The pursuit of the truth in this case is not complicated. It is a simple request. If it was your child, what would accountability and justice look like? The Wells family is not asking for anything special. They are asking for equal justice for their child. They are asking for the same investigation you would do for your child. They want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. What did the independent autopsy show? The family's pathologist, Dr. Roger Mitchell, was ready and willing. He was waiting for the district attorney's office and the medical examiner to allow him to proceed. Attorney Ben Crump stated, "We understand that Dr. Roger Mitchell has made himself available at any point that the district attorney's office and the medical examiner will allow him to come. He's ready."
LLSsmalls.com/Nancy. 60% off your first order, free shipping, and free treats for life when you head to smalls.com/Nancy. Thanks, Smalls, and thank you from our cat, Cinnamon. Tonight, we are trying to confirm or refute claims that Nolan Wells was alive on Horn Island after 5 or even 6 p.m. If you know or think you know anything regarding that matter, Nolan Wells last seen alive, don't just post it online. Call Jackson County Sheriff's 228-769-3063. Repeat, 228-769-3063. There is a $125,000 reward for information leading to the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells. Was there an altercation? Did it break out into a fist fight just before he is killed? Did he drown? What was the true cause of death? We are waiting for facts to allow the truth to unfold. Tonight, we remember an American hero, Officer Dustin Krish, Carrollton PD, Georgia, just 33, killed in the line of duty after 3 years on the force, leaving behind a grieving wife, Emily. American hero, Officer Dustin Krish. Thank you to all of our guests, but especially to you for being with us. Nancy Gray signing off for tonight, but I'll see you tomorrow night. And until then, good night, friend. Hi, guys. Please join us on our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve unsolved homicides. And if you're on the go, please join us on your favorite podcast app where you can get all our content, where we, in our way, seek justice.
And able to go do it. But as of this recording, the official autopsy results from the state remain sealed. They will not be released until the grand jury hears the case. This is the standard procedure, but it also means a grieving family is left in the dark. On the evening of August 19th, there was a prayer rally in Ocean Springs. They were praying for Nolan, but they were also praying for something else. They were praying for the truth to come out. The family was joined by community members, faith leaders, and supporters. They stood in the Mississippi heat, holding candles and begging for answers. As the Reverend Al Sharpton said, "Imagine this. You're losing your child and you're being attacked for asking what happened." They are demanding answers. The question remains, what happened to Nolan Wells? Was it an accident, as authorities initially suggested? Or is there more to the story? The family has pointed out inconsistencies. Why would Nolan, a young man who was known to love social media, suddenly have no photos or videos on his phone from that day? Why was the initial statement about the cause of death given before any investigation was complete? Why was the family, who are simply grieving parents, subjected to attacks for asking questions? We are left with an unanswered question. It is the same question the family has asked from day one. It is the question the press should continue to ask. It is the question we all need to be asking. How do you trust the words of people that say immediately there was no foul play when you haven't even investigated whether there was foul play? You can find the district attorney's full public statement on the Jackson County, Mississippi government website. In the comments below, tell us, do you think the family is getting a fair investigation, or is this a case that demands federal intervention? Like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications for Project Cold Case. We will follow this case until the truth is found.